பயாலஜி இன் தமிழ் கோர்வை சேனல் சார்பாக அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பெயர் கண்ணதாசன். In this video, I am going to present the concept endosperm part 3. Part 1 and part 2, I gave the link in the description of this video. Please go through those videos and then you see this video. It will be very useful for you. In this video, I am going to teach you about the following topics: endosperm haustoria, coconut milk. This comes under do you know box in our book, and Aliron tissue. Fourth one is functions of endosperm. These are the topics that I am going to present today. Endosperm haustoria. The interesting feature of the endosperm is the presence of haustoria. Why it is interesting means endosperm itself a nutritive tissue. In order to get nutrients from the surrounding tissue, it start producing the haustoria. Now a question arises, what is haustoria? In the morphology of angiosperm itself, we would have learnt about haustoria. It means the parasitic root. Parasitic root, parasitic plant produce special roots which penetrate the host tissue in order to get the nutrients. Then these parasitic roots are called as haustoria. In the same way, the endosperm also produce such type of special roots or special structure to absorb the nutrients. Then it is called as haustoria. In the case of helobial endosperm, this is the helobial endosperm which we have already learnt in the previous videos, where we can see the two chamber. One is micropylar chamber where the free nuclear endosperm is present, and this is the chalazal chamber where the cellular endosperm is present. So the helobial endosperm, the chalazal chamber, this is the chalazal chamber. The chalazal chamber itself acts as a haustoreal structure, so that it start absorbing the nutrients from the surrounding tissue of the ovule as well as the ovary, surrounding tissue of the ovule as well as the ovary. Now it continues in cellular and nuclear endosperm. In cellular and nuclear endosperm, special structures are produced towards micropylar end. Micropylar end, here a micropylar end. So this is the micropyle of the ovule, you see, through which the pollen tube actually entered. Now after fertilization, pollen tube totally disappeared. You see, this is the endosperm, this is the embryo, this is the embryo, this is the endosperm. Endosperm start producing its haustoria through the micropyle, so it is called as micropylar haustorium. So it start branches of haustorium into the funiculus. So in this plant, in this particular species, within the funiculus, it start branching and absorbing the nutrients. What is funiculus? It is the stalk of the ovule. From there it gets the nutrients. So this is micropylar haustorium. Next one is chalazal. In some species, endosperm is produced, that is endospermal haustoria is produced at the chalazal end. Now you see here in this plant, Grevillea robusta, Malaichavuku, where we can see the nuclear endosperm haustoria at the chalazal end. You see, this is the micropylar end where the embryo is present, and this is the chalazal end where you can see vermiform appendage. We call it as vermiform appendage. It is like a worm in which free nuclei are present. So this is the nuclear endosperm. This is the nuclear endosperm at the chalaza. So it penetrates through the chalaza and go to the other part of the ovary, from where it gets the nutrients. And this is the cellular endosperm just below the embryo. So the haustoria is produced from the chalazal end of the endosperm. Right? Next, sometime the haustoria produced both towards micropylar as well as chalazal, which may be in Here it is towards the chalaza, which may be in a lateral direction. That is a point to be noted in the C category. Lateral direction depends upon the species. So in this species, Monochoria vaginalis, in Tamil it is called as Karungovalai. Okay, endosperm with lateral ostoria is present. So this is the micropylar end and this is the nucellar end. So it grows towards the lateral position of the ovule. So it is called as lateral endosperm ostoria, right? So these ostoria absorb nutrients from other outer tissue or from the ovary tissue, outer tissue of the ovule or ovary tissue, and supply them to the growing embryo. So this is the purpose of ostoria. Next, so if you like this video, press the like button, share it to your friends, comment your views, subscribe our channel, press the bell icon to receive our notification. Now coconut milk, endosperm in coconut. Endosperm. So this is the do you know part of the state board book. Coconut milk in do you know part of the box. So here you can see the coconut. This coconut, the mesocarp, fibrous mesocarp is present within which the endocarp, the stony endocarp is present. This is the characteristic feature of the drupe fruit, right? So this is the endocarp. Within the endocarp, what are present in tender coconut? You cannot see white kernel. Cellular endosperm is absent. Only that is water is present. Coconut water is present. Coconut water free nuclear endosperm. So it is free nuclear endosperm. Coconut water. So as the coconut matures, what happens? These nuclei settle down in the inner layer of the endocarp, where it start forming the that is cellular endosperm. It start forming the cellular endosperm. So as the coconut matures, amount of coconut water reduces. That is the reason why we are able to that is shake the coconut and check whether the water is present inside or not. In the highly matured coconut, definitely there won't be any water. In the same way, in a very tender coconut, there won't be any kernel. So that is the coconut water, the free nuclear endosperm only is converted into cellular endosperm and it become kernel. So this is the point to be noted in coconut milk. It is a basic nutrient medium which induces. So this is, you see, this point is not relevant to the endosperm, but it is relevant to the plant tissue culture students. So you should be very clear about this point. It is a basic nutrient medium which induces the differentiation of embryoids and plantlets from various plant tissues. So we can apply it in the plant tissue culture. Various plant tissue means plant tissue culture, where it is able to induce the differentiation of the embryo. It means the callus tissue can form the root, stem, leaf, etc. That differentiation can be done with the help of applying the coconut water. So it consists of uh, that is the hormones and other nutrients which supports the development of embryo in the plant tissue culture. Next, so allelone tissue, this is also the do you know box given in the state board books. Allelone tissue consists of highly specialized cells of you see, this is the endosperm and this is the embryo. This is the embryo part and this is the endosperm part in the grains, especially in the grains. So the endosperm is given. The outer layer, you see, this is the allelone layer. Outer layer is the allelone layer. It consists of highly specialized cells. One or few layers which are found around the endosperm of cereals, barley and maize, etc. Allelone grain contains what are present in the allelone grains. Spirosomes are present. Now, spirosomes word is given, but explanation is not given in our book. Here I gave the explanation for spirosomes, or it is also called as oleosomes, or small cell organelles bounded by single membrane only, not double membrane. Suppose you take mitochondria or chloroplast, they are bound by the double membrane. But these spirosomes are single membrane, bounded by single membrane, which take part in storage and synthesis of lipids. You see, it is actually formed from the endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the endoplasmic reticulum where the fat accumulation take place. Okay, the fat accumulation further grows and form a bulged structure. You see the bulged structure here, fat accumulation, and it become a spherical body. Some amount of lipase enzyme also added because yeah, that is in the seeds when these fat should be used for the germination of the seed. So this lipase enzyme can digest this fat. So that is the reason why it is added with lipase enzyme here. So this is the lipase and this is the single membrane, right, around the fat accumulated structure. So this is are called as spirosome. They are detached from the endoplasmic reticulum. During seed germination, Alleron cells secrete certain hydrolytic enzymes. Cells secrete certain hydrolytic enzymes like amylases, which digest the carbohydrate, proteases, which digest the proteins, which digest the reserve food material present in the endosperm cells. So this is the purpose of the Alleron layer in the cereals like barley and maize. Okay, they also consist of spirosome, which consist of fat bodies. So where fat should be digested, so it is packed with lipase enzyme, and it is formed from the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, spirosomes are otherwise called as oleosomes also. So functions of the endosperm, there are three functions. It is a nutritive tissue for the developing embryo that we know very well. That is the reason why it also produces haustoria in order to get more amount of nutrient. In majority of angiosperm, the zygote divides only after the development of endosperm. Zygote divides that we have already seen in the previous video. Okay, so first endosperm there is a primary endosperm nuclear division take place followed by the zygote because the endosperm is the one which supplies the nutrient for the developing zygote. Then third point, endosperm regulates the precise mode of embryonic development. So all the embryos are precisely similar. So that similarity is due to the, that is, it is following some pattern. We should understand from here. It is following some pattern. That pattern is regulated by the endosperm. So these are the 3 points uh, under the functions of endosperm. So this is the end of the video, student. Thank you very much for listening this video. Thank you.